If you've been in the workforce long enough, odds are you took some on-the-job training at some point. Maybe your company switched to a new software program, or you were promoted and needed new skills. You probably spent time with colleagues in the same boat as you, so you can all go back to your jobs with a little more knowledge and know-how than you had before, and maybe some more confidence too. In the world of special operations, though, where on-the-job training is a constant, some of the best technologies and the insights in how to best use them don't always make it to the front lines. And that's where Building Momentum comes in. It's a small business with a big idea. Train tip-of-the-spear operators in how to use top-of-the-line tech in the most out-of-the-way places. U.S. General John Pershing, the commander of U.S. Expeditionary Forces in Europe during World War I, said infantry wins battles. Logistics wins wars. In a military sense, logistics is basically getting the right people and equipment in the right place at the right time, and making sure both work when they arrive. But in the world of special operations, where operators are often deployed in small teams, covertly into hostile foreign territories, it's not like you can just radio HQ for more supplies. In those situations, it's a race to the clever.
We want them to be able to go into the Radio Shack of Morocco and figure that stuff out.
As the CEO and co-founder of Building Momentum, it's Brad Halsey's job to make sure his clients can not just run the race, but win it. He was a special operator in the Navy and served in Iraq before being injured.
That surgery went bad, and so I was a disabled veteran. And so after that, I was like, you know what, I want to use my brains instead of my broken body to make a living. So
he did. Halsey worked for research institutes and think tanks, developing what he says were some amazing technologies.
And so this was, post September 11th. We were in Iraq, we were in Afghanistan, and I was just really frustrated that all the technologies I was working on for DARPA, for the agency, for all these organizations, none of that was actually going anywhere. It was just going on to the Raiders of the Lost Ark, like warehouse shelves.
In 2008, Halsey spent a year in Iraq, learning firsthand what soldiers fighting on the edge needed to win.
I had a lab in Baghdad that I made a lot of technology and solutions from, but I pushed out all across the country.
From its humble beginnings in Baghdad, Building Momentum is now at the forefront of giving Special Operations Forces the unique on-the-job training they need to complete covert missions in the modern world. Things like 3D printing a spare part in the field or building aerial drones with sticks.
Looking at your client list, I mean, SOCOM, JSOC, Rangers, EOD, Space Force, I mean, Airborne. You are helping to train like at the edge. You're helping to equip folks at the edge.
Yeah, so to date we've trained almost 10,000 service members across every organization except for Coast Guard, because you guys know what you did. Because it's just we haven't stumbled across that yet. And Ukraine is sort of validating all the stuff that we've been doing for almost 10 years now.
Stuff like prototyping new designs on the fly, using what's available at the moment.
How do you go out onto the economy and build a drone in Thailand? How do you do this stuff with what you have around you? What can you resource and source very fast to make that solution?
Building Momentum offers a number of different IBCs for its clients, or innovation boot camps. The initial week-long course is more of an introduction to things like 3D printing, robotics, circuitry, coding. From there, Building Momentum tailors the instruction to the clients.
We'll listen to what they're saying. Like recently, we just did autonomous boats out in Japan because the Marine Corps saw what the Ukrainians were doing. They saw how the South China Sea is a really important thing to understand right now, and so we showed them how to build these 12-foot boats that autonomously go out and drop sensors off and come back to shore all on their own right.
And in my opinion, that's where Building Momentum shines, is that tailoring of the course.
Chris Sargent is a newly retired U.S. Marine. He just got out with 20 years and 2 days. He spent the last part of his service doing a fellowship with Building Momentum. He says one of the best things the company does for its clients is challenging not just how they approach a problem, but their entire thought process around it.
As a Marine, especially in, the more complicated MOSs like explosive ordnance disposal, which I'm an EOD tech by trade, or in the special operations community, MARSOC, Rangers, Green Berets. I came from MARSOC. Failure is looked at very negatively, right? So if you fail, you failed, right? Like, get in the back of the line, you can try again later, right? Them enabling you to fail fast and learn from it and view it as a positive thing, in my opinion, is huge.
Chris says it's his hope that this way of thinking, of trying new solutions and failing fast, permeates into the ranks of the regular military, at least to a certain extent. Chris and Brad both say if the concepts Building Momentum teaches could be more ingrained into the institutional knowledge of our military as a whole, it wouldn't just benefit special operators, but the entire fighting force.
Let's imagine we push everything out to the right and we're going into some crazy, post-apocalyptic thing or whatever. It's still going to be all these clever solutions that people will be doing, because all the big toys will be broken, all the big things will be done, all the satellites will be down, or name a thing, name some horrible thing. And now it's going to be a race to the clever. It's always going to be a race to the clever. And technology has made it so accessible.
While Building Momentum may be a veteran-owned small business that works with some of the most elite warriors on the planet, they do corporate events too. And there are some boot camps coming up this summer and fall where individuals can take part by buying a seat in the class as well. Might just have to schedule a team building retreat for the guys here at the show.